It's not the Rubik's Cube, it's the Nintendo GameCube, released in late 2001, back when Nintendo fans made a beeline for this thing, Nintendo's first primary disc-based console. By the end of 2001, you had several major game consoles to choose from: the PlayStation 2, the Xbox, the Sega Dreamcast, and the GameCube. I was a PlayStation and Dreamcast guy back in the day, but in retrospect, the GameCube has a lot of things going for it. First of all, as I'm reviewing this nearly a decade after its release, the GameCube is extremely affordable. You can walk into used game stores and pick these up for far less than many of the other old school game consoles. And like most Nintendo products, it stands the test of time quite well. Nintendo is known for building solid, rugged, dependable hardware, and the GameCube is just that. One of the things that I like is the handle on the back of the GameCube. It's easy to transport. You can pick it up with the handle, walk around with it, or use it as a weapon and punch people with your GameCube. It comes in a variety of different colors. This one is badass black, and I have a silver controller. I bought them separately, as you can tell. You plug the controller into the front, and you can play 4-player games without an adapter, which the PlayStation 2 made you use. I absolutely love the GameCube controller and find it extremely comfortable and fun to play video games on, but I'm not so wild about the design of the GameCube itself. And a lot of people, especially diehard Nintendo fans, disagree with me, but it just looks like less game console than it is. It even uses a smaller optical disc than the other game consoles. Is less more? In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter. What it really comes down to is the games and the performance. The GameCube is extremely comparable to both the PlayStation 2 and Xbox in terms of performance. In fact, a lot of the same games that you can get on the PlayStation 2 and Xbox are also available on the GameCube, as well as the Nintendo exclusives like Metroid Prime, Zelda, and Mario Kart. The GameCube has a large software library, and like games on the PlayStation 2 or Xbox, most of them are extremely affordable, and they're playable, at least most of them, as far as I know, are playable on the Nintendo Wii. So do you even need a GameCube anymore? Yes, you do, and let me show you why. The Game Boy player. That's why you still need a GameCube, because this is one of the best accessories ever created. Playing Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games on your GameCube. I reviewed the Game Boy player separately, but to summarize, you insert the software for the Game Boy player, insert your favorite Game Boy, Game Boy Color, or Game Boy Advance game, and then play it on a television. It's fantastic. Unfortunately, what it does not do is allow you to play Sega 32X games on your GameCube, and that's disappointing. Before you sell your GameCube to buy something else, just remember how awesome the Game Boy player is, and if you already sold it, well, you can buy another one because they're pretty cheap. Here's where the memory cards go. Close-up look at the back. If you have a Wii, you probably don't need a GameCube anymore unless you want to use the Game Boy player. Or maybe you just keep one around to remind you of the months that you spent playing Resident Evil 4. With an extremely comfortable, cool controller, an affordable price tag, and a massive library of video games, including Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance, there's many reasons to love the GameCube, including the fact that the overwhelming majority of the games are playable on the Nintendo Wii. And besides, you've got to love any game console that has time splitters. It's the GameCube. I rarely take the Game Boy player out of here, but just to prove a point, they shouldn't have abandoned cartridges completely. Shame on you!